help welcome the deportees. Whether we like it or not, they are coming. We do not have any power to stop what the American president ordered. The deportees, they are coming. They will be coming. Now, we have been talking about the deportees and giving advice and plentifully as to how they can settle down, what they can do. But for this one, I want to look at something carefully. How will we welcome them? The way we welcome them, that is government, church, educational institution, community, family, friends, relatives, the way we welcome them will help to determine their future, what they do, how they settle down, how they behave. So that's the big reason for this posting. I'm basing the whole thing on that story found in the New Testament. We usually label it as the prodigal son. But when you work through that story, you discover that prodigal son was not just on his own. He was not a case in isolation. No, he went out. No, first of all, he took the goods as he told the father, give me my portion. It was the father's goods. But of course, because he was born to the father, because he was a son, then yes, a portion of it in truth would be his because he's part of the family. So he took his portion and he went out and he squandered every penny. He fell so low that he had to be mingling with the house, eating what they would have been eating, and so on. He didn't write back to the father. He didn't send any barrel. He didn't communicate in any way. He thought he was having a good time. But when hard time hit him, he decided then and there he would go back to the father. In this situation, the poor deportees, they didn't have a choice. It's not their decision. They are forced to return. Just about all of them, I would think, against their will. Let's look at prodigal son again. He made that decision. He packed up whatever he had, little or nothing, and he trekked back to the father. Now, this is where I would like us to pay special attention. When he arrived home, there were two individuals in the reception sphere. The father was loving, caring, and forgiving. And although he squandered, he could still say along the way, this is my son. He welcomed him with open arms. He ordered that the fatted calf be killed and his son should be resettled. I am quite sure, based upon that, the prodigal boy would have become a productive son ever after. When he remembered the love of the father, the care of the father. But what I need you to bear in mind is that he was repentant. He made a decision along the way we all have to make decision. The deportees' decision will help with the acceptance. The acceptance eventually will help the deportee to settle down and be productive, be part of the family again. But look, there was another person. They call him the Big Brother. Big Brother was unwelcoming. He didn't want to see that old rascal who took the portion of goods and went away. He's coming home ragged and disheveled. He's coming home not looking like a family member. He said to his father, "These years I've been with you, and you give me nothing." After all, he was part of the family. He would eat and drink every day. He had shelter. He had the relationship. Things were there for him. But he was hostile. He was angry. Now we are glad. It did not spell it out, but we are very happy to know that his behavior did not influence the welcoming home of the prodigal son. If it were left to Big Brother, that little brother would go begging, go stealing, maybe go back to prodigal land where he would become a criminal, maybe, where he would be killed, maybe, but all the evil things would be open up to him if it were left to Big Brother's attitude and the decision. Now, this is saying a lot to us. Some of the relatives who went away, they didn't write to you. They didn't pay you any mind. They threw the stone behind them and decided that they would not even look back, let alone come home. But they're here. The big question, can you forgive them? Can you welcome them home? Can you kill the fatted calf for them? Maybe you do not have a literal fatted calf to kill for them, but within your being, that fatted calf may be the one biscuit, that little sugar, that little tin of milk, uh, simple things. That may be the fatted calf to share with them. It's how you share with them. Government, church, educational institution, relatives, friends, how you share with them will help to determine in a big way what their future will be like. As a matter of fact, I am convinced that many who dash off and didn't even return, didn't write any letter, they were forced to do so because of some situation here. Mhm. But oh, let us all begin to look at the thing as it is now. Let us be practical. Let us hold together and let us face the fact. Let us be determined to help these who are now coming from Donald Trump's kingdom. Let's help them to settle down like the prodigal. What did the father do? The father, as it were, looked down the way. Look in the air. The plane is coming. It will soon land at the one of the airports, and off they will come. Some with precious little. That father was not looking what his son had. He was not looking at how well his son was dressed or not dressed. But he went out. Some of us may begin to realize that relative coming. Go down to the airport. And so the father, he threw his arms around him. That's something big. Maybe some of us were not accustomed to the cuddling and the hugging and so on. Met a man once, and he said two friends. He was at a place, and two friends met each other. They hadn't seen one another for quite a long time. But he said one took off his cap and he says, so and so many years, me no see you so and so, you were where I am you. And he said, no, all of them expletive. But he said, at the back of my mind, I could feel that they were happy, very happy to see one another again. I am not encouraging you to go and do it that way. But if that's the way you can do it, do it. Be there for them. And that will help their settling down. The father got in and he ordered the servant to get a nice robe and put on him. Now it's going to be difficult. These guys, they were in America. You shouldn't have to change to trade one of the few trousers, one of the few shirts, one of the few vests that you have. You shouldn't have to do it. But there you are. Circumstance pushed them out, maybe with little or nothing. Maybe you have to give them one of the trousers. Maybe you have to give them one of the shirts. Or maybe you have to go find a way to buy one for them and give it to them to help settle them. Then the father asked that a ring be placed on his finger. In other words, there was restoration, a symbol of authority. Don't watch them so hard. Yes, some of them you'll have to keep eye on them, but do it with such discretion that have you ever been in a place where you're conscious of the fact that somebody is watching you? Went to a store in London, and from the moment I entered the store, now they're very smart, very clever men. And they do things in a wise way. They wouldn't have people walking around in uniform and all like that. They get people, they dress like you, dress ordinary, they look shabby and all like that too. But from the way the man was nearing me at every point I made, I knew for sure that I was being watched. I felt uncomfortable. I felt distressed. I felt unwanted. And so when I discovered that he was around and round with me, I walked out of the store. And I didn't resort to crime or go somewhere. I tried to find somewhere else where I could spend my money comfortably. But many will not be like that when they are conscious of the fact that you expect of them criminal activities. Some will be forced to go into the world of criminality, especially if their fault was already criminal activities. But you can help them to overcome that. I am by no means saying that all will be like the prodigal son, returning with repentance, returning with a confession on his lip. Father, I have sinned against you. I've sinned against heaven. I've made a big mistake. I've wasted your inheritance, your fortune. I have done all the abominable things. No, not all will be like that. But you know something? We can do things in a very judicious, sensible, worthwhile way. And even the lowest of the low can be helped. I've seen it as a pastor. I've baptized people who they were coming out of miserable situations. I have seen people where the members of the church cringe and they wonder if we were sensible welcoming them in the congregation. Nearly all of those that I have experienced, they settle down. And because I'm blessed with decades in the ministry, I live to see some of them outshining some of those who were big brothers. It can happen again. It can happen again. Let's take the fatherly attitude. The father reached the point where he ordered the fatted calf to be killed, a feast for his son. As I mentioned before, you might not have the literal fatted calf, but you might have the fatted biscuit. You might have the fatted cup of tea. You might have the fatted dumpling. You might have the fatted snacky and saltfish. Whatever the fatted thing you have, sharing it might help them to settle down and settle down very well. And mark you, like how some of those people are coming in deprived, robbed of what they had. Some of them coming in with zeal and energy. They just want that start. They just want to be welcome. They just want to be given that square of land to plant some vegetable. They just want to be given that corner to make a little booth for selling this and selling that. They just want to have a little corner to put a machine when you help them to buy the machine, to be good tailors. Some of them guys are good motor mechanics. Tell you something, some of the finest motor mechanics I've seen are those stemming from Jamaica. Yeah, go England and you run your car into the mechanic place. First thing they take out a book and they begin to look at this and Jamaica man got it all in his head. Some of them will come back skilled people. Some of them will have energy. Some of them will have good thinking. Let's help them to resettle like the father helped the prodigal son. And as I'm telling you, some will not be real prodigals. The rascality will still linger with them. But as you march along, in most cases, we can hardly determine who is who. And I don't know that we have that abundant skill to determine that this one who squandered will be profitable or not profitable. Even if you do not take them into your home literally, even if you do not take them where you are, do not display such an attitude that you're just ready to say, I know, I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that the boy would go thief again. I know that he would tell lie again. I know that he would rape again. What is the term they say now? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Be in that fatherly situation where, from your point of view, you're saying, welcome home. If they choose to abuse that welcome, then they go prodigal again, and they go face the issues of life. They go do what they want to do. As somebody was saying the other day, well, if you go down that path, then what I used to say in Britain, the long arm of the law is waiting to grab hold of you. And maybe, like in this other story in the New Testament, it's, the evil spirit went out from the man. The man was there. The man didn't try to work with the restoration program and begin to pack something inside and begin to say, well, no, they're gone, so let me do something good. No, you just clean up and just sit down, do nothing. The record tells me that the evil spirit went out and he sought for 7 others, maybe worse than himself. And when they returned and got in, great destruction. You help them. Periodically go check if they're cleaning up, but do it with discretion. Do it with love. Do it with kindness. Do it so that if there is at all, yes, I remember this man was talking to another one, and the other one was holding the the person at fault with heavy hands. But the person who had done something wrong, he was sort of repentant. So the one looking, and he looked at him and he said, let the man live his repentance. Help him to be good. And that's what I'm throwing out this morning. Help them to be good citizens, good stewards. You will be blessed. Their children will be blessed. Because look, if you push them to go into criminal activities again, your house may be one of those that they will break into. Your daughter may be one of those that will be raped. Your produce may be taken. You may be scammed along the way and thousands of dollars gone. Help them to be good citizens, good stewards. It's to everybody's advantage. Don't just sit back, rocking your rocking chair and say, well, that's their business. It's the business for all of us, for all of us. It's our duty to help with the settling down. See, I am helping with the settling down by posting, and I sincerely hope it is helping somebody to resettle nicely and to build a future. Yes, the world is in turmoil and chaos. Things are not as they should be. Corruption in high places, devastation here and there. Wicked men seem to be thriving. But I still believe good can come where we try to establish goodness and mercy. Or we may say, allow the goodness and mercy flowing from the Master to flow into us, to flow in our being, and to flow from us. Yes, they will be blessed. You will be blessed. Our community will be blessed. And bear in mind, there is still a lot of good, still a lot of prosperity, still a lot of wealth in Jamaica. Let's help one another to benefit from the great blessings that the Master of the universe has poured out upon us. Be wise and prosper today, and in addition, help others around you to prosper and to be good stewards. Thank you for watching. Look for my next video. It's coming soon. And while you're waiting for it, please subscribe. Many have mentioned that they are gaining blessings from these postings, and undoubtedly, you too will gain blessings. Have a very fine day.